heart of gold, but ready to fight. Standing tall, doing what's right. Shining truth like a firelight. Daddy's wisdom running deep taught me promises I've gotta keep. Breaking chains, leaving pain behind. Calling out the crooked kind. Oh, the truth cuts through the lies. No more secrets in disguise. Second chances, they wear thin. SpawnTrooper rides again. Ain't no fear when I'm around. Justice stands on solid ground. One last chance to make it right, or face the reckoning tonight. In the dark, where shadows creep, truth rings out, it cuts so deep. Ain't no price to make me sell. Standing strong, I know too well. Oh, the truth cuts through the lies. No more secrets in disguise. Second chances, they wear thin. SpawnTrooper rides again. In the dark, where shadows creep, truth rings out, it cuts so deep. Ain't no price to make me sell. Standing strong, I know too well. Oh, the truth cuts through the lies. No more secrets in disguise. Second chances, they wear thin. SpawnTrooper rides again.
Warning: the following video contains strong language, which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only. Thank you for your attention. And a jolly good morning to everybody. Good morning, Nick D. Good morning, Marlin. Good morning, Missy Lady. And good morning, anybody else who's hanging out and listening. Today is going to be a, how can I put it, a very educational stream. Because obviously over the last few weeks, or over the last few months, my apologies, a certain individual who basically has a memory of a goldfish and obviously needs to do a little bit of training. Gareth Bolter, welcome. I am very good today. You're going to enjoy today. Today is going to be mostly a educational, because we all know that Mr. Magoo, aka Mr. Luthman, who is an absolute prat, likes to talk about trial by combat. So before we go into it, I've actually wrote up some segments. So first of all, I would like to welcome everybody to the stream, and to anyone who's going to be on replay. Welcome. Enjoy the stream. because you may learn something today. You may even be educated today, because there's a lot of people, who don't know about the terminology about trial by combat. Well, I mean, and also the only legal procedure where cardio was optional, but sharp steel was not. So for certain people, obviously, right. What we'll be covering, okay, today, we will be covering the purpose and the content of trial by combat. Medieval people loved a good scrap. The key features: weapons, cat champions, and occasional someone getting hit with a frying pan. That's not me today. A brief history of how this became a legal method and settling disputes. The last time trial by combat was used, yes, it actually happened, in modern legal statutes in both the United Kingdom and the United States. And whether you can still walk into a courtroom today and say, "Your Honor, I demand trial by combat." Spoiler alert, judges tend to frown upon that. Now, some people may find this a little bit boring, but for general consensus, it's something that is, I mean, how can I put it? When someone turns around and says they want trial by combat, they're usually a coward. It's all talk. It's all based on bravado. Now, if I lived in the States and someone said, "I want trial by combat," I would turn around in a court case. I would turn around to that judge and I'll say, "Yep, let's do it. But let's do it in a way that is safe and doesn't involve unaliving each other." So basically, for example, over here in the United Kingdom and obviously in Europe and in other countries, there are groups who partake in medieval MMA. It's basically full-blown, full contact, and you use certain types of weaponry, which is blunt. They are blunt weapons, so, but if you get whacked by one of them, I can assure you it will hurt. Now, how can I put this? Right, first things first. I like to do my research. So I asked AI. I asked Google. I've done a bit of research this morning. I was up quite early, so why not? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read something out to you. Trial by combat was historically used as legal methods of settling disputes in the absence of witnesses. Now, remember that you need to listen to this. The absence of witnesses or a confession based on the belief that divine power would intervene to ensure the innocent party was victorious. It functioned as a judicially sanctioned duel, primarily within medieval Europe legal system. The purposes and context: judgment of God. The underlying theory was that the outcome of the fight was a judicium Dei, judgment of God, meaning God would grant victory to the righteous individual. Lack of evidence: it was typically the last resort procedure in cases where the court had no material evidence to determine guilt or innocence, such as land boundary disputes or rapist accusations. Alternative to feuds, in honor-based societies, the formal process of trial by combat was an attempt to emerge legal authorities to control and prevent long-running violent blood feuds between families or clans, which happened a lot. Social status: the practice was more common among the nobility, who viewed it as a way to defend their honor. Commoners might face other forms of ordeal, such as by fire, water, or jury trial. Now, for example, in the turn of the century, 19th century, in Germany, for example, a lot of people who were, how can I put it, of high standing, would fence. And if people do actually do some research, you would find out very quickly that when you see some pictures of like German officers in the First World War or Second World War, you would notice that they would have scars across their face, or they would have, scarring within their face. This was basically one of those. So, dueling still happened, even though when it was legalized, where it was illegal to actually duel. But we're going to go into specifics on that. Now, I did, funny enough, because I was doing some research on this, I came across a article, which is in the description, by the way, and that will be number one in the case law and information. So basically, you'll actually find it. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Good morning. Bonjour. So a lot of people think, trial by combat means you go and fight each other. No, actual fact, there's a lot to it. And also, people who actually demand trial by combat are either hiding something, or they don't want anyone, or it's used as a ploy, because if you go into court and say trial by combat, you're putting a lot of pressure on the judge and on other sources as well, because obviously, the judge then needs to go through the system and say, hey, no, she does trial by combat all the time. But anyway, so key features: champions. Parties could often nominate a champion to fight on their behalf, a practice particularly used by women, the elderly, or the infirm. This led to hiring of skilled mercenaries, sometimes described as violent auctions for justice. Now, technically, I mean, Richard Luthman, aka Mr. Magoo, has challenged Jeremy Hells to trial by combat. Now, on a technicality, if Stupid wants to go and do trial by combat, on a technicality, Mr. Hells could employ a person to fight on his behalf and then become his champion. So, and that's one of these things. So this is where we're going to go into. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of this, because Luthman doesn't realize of what he's putting himself in. If we go back a couple of 100 years and there was trial by combat or duels, Luthman, first of all, you wouldn't be able to run away. You'd probably roll away. And secondly, especially the comment I've seen, in regards of your comments, which I found extremely questionable, was, and I'm going to take a screenshot and I'm going to show that in a minute. Now, I find that that could be taken any way. Your comment can be taken in many ways, and I'll be very honest with you. It also shows the level of mentality. Okay. Because when you put something up, like, even if it's in gist because you think you're funny, sometimes it can come back to bite you in the backside. And the reason I'm saying this is because of this. Now, I am fully aware. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for becoming a peasant, and welcome to the troop. That is our family name. It's the troop. Right. So basically, what I'm talking about, okay, is certain innuendos, certain under the table type of innuendos where, I'm only joking. Yeah. Now, I find it quite strange. Okay, when someone puts a comment in, a constructive comment, and then you put this in, that there could be taken any way by anybody, and if you can't handle the criticism, then you shouldn't be putting shit like that out. Because if someone, say for example, like Stupid Dave, who's acting like a freaking prima donna, and I feel threatened, yeah. I mean, can you imagine someone putting that up with Stupid Dave? I think the guy would have an aneurysm. Yeah, all right. Now, going back to what I was saying, which I rudely interrupted myself. Rules and variations. Specific rules varied by region. For instance, some German legal codes specifically specified different equipment, such as sword and shield, or a mace and shield. A unusual and unlikely rare variation involved a duel between a husband and wife where the man was physically handicapped. So basically, what they did, they probably got him to use his offhand instead of if he was right-handed, they would make him use his left hand, and they would tie his arm and bind him, his right hand behind him, or stuff like that. So and if that occurred, I mean, I can do some digging and find out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. It probably did. Declined. Trial by combat faded as legal systems evolved. The church prohibited priestly involvement to trials by ordeal. In 1215, and the jury system gained favor. All right. So we're going to get into nitty-gritty now. Modern status. Trial by combat is a historical relic and is not valid legal option in modern law. The right to trial by combat was formally abolished in England in 1819, following the case of Ashford versus Thornton, where a man attempted to use a archaic law to challenge a unaliving accusation. Modern legal systems rely on evidence, legal arguments, and jury trials for dispute resolution. Hi there, Eric. Hi there, mate. Now on another one, okay. This is why I was doing research, because AI sometimes gives you different stuff. And don't worry, I've got other stuff to come as well. While trial by combat is a relic of medieval law, it hasn't been explicitly banned in the US, leading some litigants to request it as legal argument. Though judges almost always deny these requests as legal baseless and incompatible with the modern justice, which recent examples include a 2020 case where a man sought it in a divorce proceedings. These demands often stem from misunderstandings of legal history, but some scholars note private modern-day disputes resolution agreement could mimic its principles. The court ordered combat remains a fringe concept. Historical context. Anglo-American roots. The trial by combat or wager of battle was a method in Anglo-American law to resolve disputes, particularly land ownership, writ of right, or serious crimes, appeal of felony. Medieval practice. In medieval Europe, it was sanctioned duel where the winner was deemed to be in the right, reflecting Germanic legal tradition. Modern US courts, not explicitly banned. Some states have roots in the British common law, and trial by combat was never explicitly outlawed in the US, leaving a theoretical loophole. This is where Luthman comes in. He found that and used it because he thinks he's a bad boy. He thinks he's a mafioso, which he's not. He's a clown. He lives in a fantasy world. But we could go on and I could actually show you that. Legally baseless. Demands for it are considered legally unfounded and often harm the demanding party's case. Right? Listen to the wording, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'll read that one out again. Demands for it are considered legally unfounded and often harm the demanding party's case, as modern courts prioritize constitutional rights and due process over physical contest. Recent examples: in 2020, a man requested trial by combat, right, in a divorce case, asking for time to require samurai swords, but the judge resisted. A similar demand was made in 2016 a New York case, reports fine law. Now, when you go in there, okay, in the description down, case law and information, you'll find 5 links and you'll find all the information that you need, okay? And you're going to be very surprised because we're going to hear a recording, a automated and AI made recording, right? And obviously this article was written, and all credit goes to Ashley Cowie, all right? So, hi Gail, good morning. But anyway, before you hear that, let's read this out. Why it fails. Incompatible with modern law. It conflicts with fundamental legal principles, due process, and the value placed on human life over brute force, not current affairs, and SSRN e-library. So you can click on that. Judicial discretion. Judges possess the authority to reject such requests, as seen in the 2020 case, citing the potential for unaliving and other serious ramifications, says Legal Cheek and Ancient Origins. Now, the case they're talking about is in the description, okay? You can find it there. You'll be very surprised. So, in regards to that, what we're now going to do, okay, we are now going to listen. All right, we're going to listen to. I know I spelt trial wrong, but hey, sue me. No, I'm joking. Right. So what we're going to do now, okay, you are now going to hear, right, the transcript being read out. All right. So, and obviously I'm going to pause it and then make comment. So enjoy.
On their particular case at the U.S. Constitution and what it has to say about trial by combat. Could it actually happen today? It wasn't outlawed. According to the Telegraph, although the U.S. Constitution was greatly based on British common law, it did not mention trial by combat.
Now, just for the record, it was not just British law. Trial by combat or that type of behavior that actually came from the Germanic culture. Okay, so just be aware of that. Yeah. Actual fact, just bear with me a second. I just need to do something else. There you go. Okay.
And American citizens should possess rights until the government specifically limits or outlaws them. Adam Winkler is a Georgetown University professor specializing in American constitutional law, the Supreme Court, and gun policy, and in his 2018 book.
And one thing I want to add, okay, in regards of what you're listening to here, just there are two areas in the United States where you can actually demand mutual combat. That's where you can fight. I think Texas is one place, and I think Washington is another, but don't quote me on that. Okay.
We the corporations. How American businesses won their civil rights. It says, a defendant in the U.S. could at least make an argument for trial by combat, but the burden of proof would be on the claimant. If all this sounds familiar to you, then you might have read an August 2015 story in the Washington Post about a New York trial court case. Fully
Oh, for crying out loud. Now, here's the thing. Before you hear the rest, thank you very much, Missy. Before you hear the rest, one thing you have to remember, right? Asking someone trial by combat means that you want to physically attack them. Now, I find it very strange that this individual, Luthman, Mr. Magoo, right, spent 2 years in federal prison and 2 years on probation, and is still on a what you call it, a no contact PO, right? Because he's been harassing a DA. I find that quite strange that this guy is not back in prison. But hey, obviously from what we've gathered and from what we've witnessed over the last year and a half, coming up to 2 years in regards of the what the hell's races, anti-what the hell's ecosystem, it speaks volumes, to be honest with you, about the legal system over there. The fact that these people are allowed to behave the way they do behave, the way they dox people, the way they attack people, the way they spread false rumors. I mean, there's a lot of people who do that. However, I have to say, right, there are a group of people who like to intimidate, they lie and fabricate stories, but they don't go to this level. Whereas these individuals appeared out of nowhere, injected themselves in this court case, and here we are. Now, what you're about to hear is stuff that I've even done live streams about this last year. Okay, which a lot of people seem to have memories of a goldfish, but the thing is, there's so much happens that people lose track of what's going on. Hi, Cynthia. So let's listen to this bit.
Versus Luthman, in which Richard A. Luthman demanded his common law right to trial by combat. Foley versus Luthman, in which Richard A. Luthman demanded his common law right to trial by combat. In his own address to the court, he offered a detailed history of trial by combat and said,
just before we carry on, just for the record, there is actually a court document where this is actually in. Right, and he made a big spiel about it. If you remember the pictures of him wearing a child's plastic helmet and a shield and a plastic sword, well, yeah, there you go. There's your proof how pathetic this individual is. I mean, the guy thinks he thinks he's Al Capone, or he thinks he's Al Pacino or something like that, or from the Goodfellas, or Godfather. The fact that he hasn't got in trouble with them, or and then he mentions motorbike clubs or groups. I think they will frown upon the fact that he is dragging them into something like this, and it just shows you. And rumors go around saying that now this is just speculation, and it's not an allegation, but it's allegedly and speculative that he gets paid to be a antagonist. And, so I don't know if it's true or not, and I really don't care, because, to be perfectly honest with you, you wouldn't have to tell me. He is an antagonist. He likes to deflect. He lies, and he plays every trick in the book, but seems to fail. And I just want to, one more time, just thank Mr. Magoo for the free advertising. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It was called Wager of Battle in English, and it was introduced into the common law of the Kingdom of England following the Norman conquest, and that it remained in use for the duration of the High and Late Middle Ages. Mr. Luthman then told the court that in 1774, as part of the legislative response to the Boston Tea Party, Parliament considered a bill which would have abolished appeals of murder and trials.
So here we are. Mr. Magoo thinks that we're still in the 16th, 17th century. Obviously, I don't think the common sense is strong within him. No, I don't think that, anyone who behaves the way he does. And I find it very strange, because he's the only one who does it. Mr. Volpe, or whatever, Skeletor, you guys. Now, he's a clown. Leslie, well, I mean, you could write a book and still not have, and just be scratching the surface. And then you've got Deuce Boy. I mean, he's caused all this in the first place. And then you got the Crampons. I mean, I think, if you put them all together, you will have enough brain cells to be able to turn on the light switch. Yeah. So, but there you go. And let's carry on.
By battle, right across the New World colonies. Appeals in this sense are private accusations of crimes without the need for proceedings to be brought by the Crown.
So, Luthman, are you trying to avoid to have witnesses because you know that you lied through your teeth? Or are you just a coward? I think you're a coward. Personally, I do believe that you are a coward, because only cowards, right, will use dirty tricks to get what they want, even if they fail. And we've come across a lot of people like that. But you make an exception. The fact that you actually request a trial by combat, considering that 99.9999% of court judges would actually deny it and probably look at you in disdain. Yeah.
However, the motion was successfully opposed by Member of Parliament John Dunning, who described appeal of murder as that great pillar of the Constitution, according to the court papers. And while Luthman went on to claim that the Ninth Amendment preserved his right to trial by combat, His civil suit was rejected in 2016 and called tongue-in-cheek by the Washington Post.
Which, really, I mean, if a Washington newspaper or any type of newspaper laughs at Luthman, then that should be enough to say, yeah, whatever. Now, Luthman has accused not just me, my pretty DJ Rattus, and other people in being in collaboration with Jeremy Hells. Now, I've never spoken to Jeremy Hells, probably said hello to him in Tugs or Megan Fox's stream, but I've never, ever personally spoken to him directly. And to be honest with you, I doubt very much I will. Because, he has his life, I have my life. And not that I dislike him, I just don't think there would ever be a conversation. And, but the crap that they are going through and have gone through ever since all this started is wrong. And it just shows you what these people are like. But because obviously someone likes to trial by combat, the problem that he's now got is that, I mean, we all know, well, I presume that everyone realizes that he, in 2018, he actually had a psychological evaluation done on him in a court case. And that's public record. That's public information. Now, if you got someone who's behaved like this and he lives in a fantasy world thinking that he is what do you call it? What's the word for it? An Al Pacino lookalike or Al Capone, and then walks around giving it all large, like Lionette with all her freaking jewelry on her hands. What happens? He walks into a restaurant and then people bow down and kiss his hand. Yeah, not going to happen. Unfortunately, we are now in a century. We are now in a time where you don't have to do by trial by combat, because even if it did happen, I think just by walking into the arena would tire out Luthman instantly. You'd probably want to take a half an hour break just so to get his breath back. But there you go. Now, is this a personal thing for me? Absolutely not. Do I hate the guy? No. I despise the guy for who he and what he represents as. This guy at one time was a lawyer who was there. And a lot of people seem to forget what a lawyer is. A lawyer is a person who will stand in front of a judge, right, and defend you and speak for you, okay, and represent you and be there for you and advise you everything that you need to know about legal ramifications or anything. And this guy here is the perfect example of when everything they're supposed to do is the complete opposite. Just like Bruce Matskin, just like Leslie, whatever her freaking name is, Flamingo, Federico, whatever, right? These people, okay, are supposed to be pillars of the community, representing the community or individuals who may or may not have been falsely accused of something that they did or did not do. Now, if you think about it, trial by combat would probably end all this court case very quickly, because at the end of the day, there is so much evidence against every single one of these people, including Ray Bone Crusher, whatever his name is, Stupid Dave, and all these other, and Swamp Liz and everyone else. They should be thankful that they're in the 21st century and where courts, have trials and have juries, which I think is the good thing. I mean, the perfect example. Yes, I actually seen Jeremy Hells' update on the Ohio court case. There's the perfect example. I'm not going to jump on the coattail here, but I'm going to repeat what Jeremy said, what he said in that video, that the lawyer, didn't even know what he was doing. He sitting about I mean, like, was he playing a game? Probably. Wasn't you ready for the court case? Definitely. Good morning, Amalgal. And this is the thing, right? If you're going to help someone, you're going to support someone, you stick at that. You do it. Perfect example, right? When Eric needed help, I wasn't going to let him sit there and not help him. I was going to help him. And and that's what I did. And I stayed with him through and through until the end. And everyone in the community, in this community, helped him. That's what a person should do if you are given the responsibility to do so. Now, as a lawyer, you would think a lawyer would actually do their job. You'd think that, wouldn't you? And out of every single person who has a legal or had a legal certificate to practice law, the only people I could technically say, right, who actually did their job professionally and properly was Feather, Silverman. Even though a lot of people like took the piss out of him, right, he's still done his job. And Randy Shockett. Randy Shockett has been a saint, right? He has been slapped around. He got sanctioned. He paid that sanction off. He did exactly what he had to do. And then you've got this idiot, right, who seriously looked like Elmer Fudge, challenging people for trial by combat. Really? Okay. Well, we're going to get a little bit more into this, because obviously I think a lot of people don't realize that trial by combat, right? Yes, it's in the legal system. It's in the Constitution. It's buried away. And here's the reason why it doesn't exist anymore, because of jury. Now, before I carry on, does anyone have are there any questions, concerns, or complaints? If you've got any questions, concerns, or complaints, put them in now before I carry on. I'll take that as a no then. Right. Trial by combat. Also, basically, there's also a film from 1976 called Trial by Combat. So if you try to find it, go and have a look. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Right. Okay. Legal status in the USA. The USA inherited British law at the time of its founding in 1776. A time when trial by combat or wage of battle was technically still on the books in Britain. It was only formalized and abolished there in 1819 after a high-profile case brought the archaic law to public attention. However, the procedural paths to request it no longer exist in modern law, and the practice is universally considered incompatible with contemporary legal principles and public policy. Dueling, a related practice, was explicitly outlawed across the US in the 19th century. The survivors of any such encounter face some potential unaliving or manslaughter charges. Now, for example, dueling was done in a certain way. If someone had a problem with each other, especially like in Germany, for example, the turn of the century, if someone had a problem, what you do, you go to a fencing school, all right, and then like you'd wait and then make some sort of like backhand deal, and you would then sit there and wait, and then you'd take up your swords and do what you have to do. And what they used to call is a draw first blood, and basically the moment you draw first blood, that would be it. Okay, so it was done. And it was honorable. It was an honor thing. Okay. Now, modern attempts to demand trial by combat, despite its non-viability, individuals have occasionally demanded trial by combat in modern US courts, typically in civil disputes. Though these attempts are largely seen as attention-seeking or a result of frustration with the legal process. That sounds like Mr. Magoo there. Right. Notable examples include Richard Luthman, 2015, an attorney in New York requested chivalric combat to settle a fraud case, but the request was denied. David Ostrom, which is in the description, by the way, that's where the story came from. A Kansas man in a divorce and custody battle requested trial by combat using blunted, practical style katana swords. The court denied his motion and ordered a mental health evaluation, which he passed. Ostrom later admitted the request was intended to attract media attention in his case. Well, have a guess what? Have a guess what? What happened in 2015 with Luthman? It also got a lot of media attention. And here's the thing, there's one thing that these people have in common. Bruce Matskin, Richard Luthman, Michael Fulp, Lisa Lee Rabusi Weeks, whatever you want to call herself, Robbie Kersey, and David Tischendorf. All of them want publicity. They all want PR. They all want to be in the forefront. Oh, look at us. It's all being about media attention, about clout. And they are not the only ones. There are people on the what the hell side as well doing the same thing. But there is, and not forget Leslie, and there's a big, big disconnect, okay, between getting famous or getting known on social media for the wrong reasons or for the right reasons. Now, there's a lot of people who have been seen over the last 18 months plus who are getting a name for the wrong reasons. But then you've got a group of people who are getting a bad reputation for the sake and the fact that they are negative, spiteful, greedy individuals. And we, unfortunately for us, have come across them and are witnessing this day in, day out. But to then challenge someone for combat for trial, that should give you reasons to be concerned. Because if this person walks down the road and gives away every single location where he is, all right, and deliberately shows his area, he wants people to come after him. All right, this is an entrapment. This is the way that you get attention because, I got attacked because if someone had have done that, the first person to get the blame would have been Jeremy Hells. And that's what Luthman is doing. And not just him, other people as well. Now, I got sent a screenshot about Jabba the Hoot, Stupid Dave, that he feels this and he feels threatened this and all that stuff. I find it very interesting that for the last 12 months that he didn't seem to be threatened when he was dragging what the hell's through the dirt on talking crap and going on other people's platforms and talking shit. And then suddenly when the table has turned, it's like, I'm the victim. Oh, poor me, blah, 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 labels and label here, label there. Don't you find that very interesting that every time they get caught with their pants down, they suddenly run around going, oh, poor me. But the moment you challenge that, you are the bad guy. People then go, look at that. Also, look at that Brit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't live in America. He doesn't know the American law. Well, newsflash, sunshine or sunshiny. Your law is partially British law. Just saying. But anyway, we digress. Courts have consistently denied these requests on various grounds, including that dueling is illegal and a relevant legal procedure does not exist. The consensus among legal experts in that any court attempted to sanction a trial by combat would be quickly overturned by higher authorities, and I do believe that. Now, if you really, and this is my personal opinion, if you really, 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 really with a sugar ziggy you want to get close and personal with someone you don't like, then phone up a gym or phone up a boxing club or phone up a martial art dojo or the medieval MMA groups that you have in the States, and ask them if you can go down there with the individual and you can have it out in the ring. It is controlled. It is safe. There are no, yes, you will walk away with bruises, but the thing is, it is safe. Threatening someone with or trying to have trial by combat, right, shows that shows that you're not freaking with it. That you are definitely a couple of sandwiches missing of a picnic. Or shall I say, a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic, like a whole freaking loaf of bread. But anyway, right. So, history of trial by combat. Origins. Unlike trial by ordeal in general, which is known to many cultures worldwide, trial by combat is known primarily from the customs of the Germanic peoples. The practice was almost universal in Europe, according to the medievalist Eric Jaeger. It was in use among the ancient Burgundians, Ripuarian Franks, Alamans, Lombards, and Swedes. It was also known in Anglo-Saxon law and Roman law, and it does not figure in the traditions of Middle Eastern antiquity, such as the Code of Hammurabi or the Torah. However, it is recorded in medieval Irish Brehon laws, such as the Din Tictorgan. That's T8. Yeah, anyway, don't worry about it. The practice is regulated in various Germanic legal codes, being rooted in the Germanic tribal law, the various regional laws of the Frankish Empire, and the later Holy Roman Empire. Prescribe different particulars, such as equipment and rules of combat. The Lex Alamanum, Landfridana 81, dated 712 to 730 AD, prescribes a trial by combat in the event that two families disputed the boundary between their lands. Right? It was always based around land, disputes of land. Okay, and it just evolved into personal vendetta, personal stuff. A handful of earth taken from the disputed piece of land is put between the two contestants, and they are required to touch it with their swords, each swearing that their claims is lawful. The losing party, besides forfeiting their claims to the land, is required to pay a fine. So, as you can hear just by that, right, this is based on first blood. It wasn't based but obviously there were duels and trial by combats where people were unalive. It happens. Governed its use appear from the year 803 onwards, Louis de Pios prescribed combat between witnesses of each side, rather than between the accuser and the accused, and briefly allowed for the ordeal of the cross in cases involving clerics. In medieval Scandinavia, the practice survived through the Viking Age in form of holmgang. That's HOLMGANG. An unusual variant, the marital duel involving combat between a husband and wife, with the former physically handicapped in some way. The loser was unalived. The Roman Empire. Otto the Great in 967 expressed sanctioned the practice of Germanic tribal law, even if it did not figure in the more imperial Roman law. The celebrated case of Gero, Count of Alsleben, is a good example. The Fourth Lateran Council of 1215 depreciated judicial duels, and Pope Honorius III in 1216 asked the Teutonic Order to cease its imposition to judicial duels on their newly converted subject in Lithuania. The following 3 centuries, there were the latest tensions between the traditional regional laws and Roman law. The Sachsenspiegel, which is German, of 1230 recognized the judicial duel as an important function to establish guilt or innocence in cases of insult, injury, or theft. The combatants are armed with swords and shields and may wear linen and leather clothing, but their hands and feet must be bare and their hands only protected with light gloves. The accuser is to await the accused at the designated place of combat. If the accused does not appear after being summoned 3 times, the accuser may execute 2 cuts and 2 stabs against the wind. and his matter will be treated as if he had won the fight. All right? Okay, carrying on. The Kleines Kaiserrecht, all right, an anonymous legal code of the 13th century prohibits judicial duels together, stating that the emperor had come to this decision on seeing that too many innocent men were convicted by the practice just for the being physically weak. Nevertheless, judicial duels continued to be popular throughout the 14th and 15th century. Trial by combat plays a significant role in the German schools of fencing. Listen very carefully, ladies and gentlemen. German schools of fencing in the 15th century, notably Hans Talhofer, depicts techniques to be applied in such duels, separately for the Swabian sword and shield, or Franconian mace and shield variants, although other Fechtbücher, such as that of Paulus Kahl and the Codex Wallerstein, show similar material. There you go. While commoners were required to present their case to the judge before dueling, members of the nobility did have the right to challenge each other. Listen carefully, guys. I said this about the, German officers having scars on their face and stuff. Have the right to challenge each other for duels without the involvement of the judiciary, so that duels of this kind were separate from the judicial duel already in the Middle Ages and were not affected by the latter's abolishing in the early 16th century by Emperor Maximilian I, evolved into the gentlemanly duel of modern times, which was outlawed only at late as in the 19th century. Okay, so you had in Germany, if I had a problem with you, Luthman, right, and we were in Germany, me and you could go into a German school of fencing and deal with it and have that dealt with. And that'd be it. All right. Hans Talhofer in his 1459 Frott Codex names 7 offences that in the absence of witnesses were considered grave enough to warrant a judicial duel, viz. Unaliving, treason, heresy, desertion of one's lord, imprisonment, possibly the sense of, obviously, that's probably abduction, perjury, fraud, and grape. Great Britain and, well, we're not going to go through all that because there's quite a lot on that. Right, let me try to get to a point. 16th century, the last trial by combat under the authority of an English monarch is thought to have taken place during the reign of Elizabeth I in the inner courtyard of Dublin Castle in Ireland on the 7th of September 1583. The dispute was between 2 members of the sept of O'Connor's Farley from King's County, modern County Offaly, who were persuaded by 2 judges referred to in the account below to bring the matter before the Irish Privy Council for resolution. Now I can go through that. Right, modern era. Okay. I'm definitely going to go through this. Actual fact, no, go through that. Italy, well, we can talk about Italy, India, United States. Right. Let's get to this bit. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. I'll tell you one thing. I will be so impressed if you are in Wikipedia. Right, okay. Yeah, okay. No, it's not in there. Is it? No. Right. Okay. So basically, you had this in Italy, you had it in Germany, you had it in England, you had it, well, basically in the whole United Kingdom, Ireland as well. India, the 15th century, you had it there as well. United States. At the time of the independence in 1776, trial by combat had not been abolished, and it was never formally been abolished since. The question of whether trial by combat remains a valid alternative to civil actions has been argued to remain open, at least in theory. In McNatt versus Richards in 1983, the Delaware Court of Chancery rejected the defendant's request for trial by combat to the unalived on the grounds that dueling was illegal. In the Forgotten Trial Techniques, the Wagner The wager of battle, Donald J. Evans set out the possibility of a trial by battle in a settlement of lawyer's office. A tongue-in-cheek motion during the 2005 trial. Oh, Jesus, it is in here. The tongue-in-cheek motion during 2015 for trial by combat is a response to a civil suit that was rejected in 2016. It's actually in Wikipedia. This is brilliant. In 2020, yeah, obviously we know about David Zachary Olstrom requested trial by combat, yeah. At the rally for President Donald Trump on January 6, 2021, former New York City Mayor and Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani made claims of voter fraud and called it for a trial by combat. The rally resulted in a storm. Oh, my God, yeah. But here's the thing, okay? That absolute clown, oh yeah, so I don't know where this was in the UK. In more recent times, members of the sovereign citizen movement and other novel leading theorists have occasionally claimed that the right to trial by battle still holds, such as the mechanic Humphreys, who challenged the DVLA to raise a champion over a £25 sword fine. Oh shit, that's funny. Oh God, that is funny. But yeah, they abolished. They definitely abolished trial by combat. So no matter what you do, you're never going to get it. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to come to. And everything that I have written out and everything that I've covered so far is in the description. Now, oh my word! I mean, right? I mean, the last trial by combat was in 1817. That was between Ashford and Thornton. That was in England. Yeah, come to Wales, you'll soon find out. Imagine going to court today and the judge going, right then, swords at dawn. I mean, but the thing is, like, there's a difference between trial by combat and duels. Right? A duel is an honourable thing. Trial by combat is basically you get stuck in and that's it. Right. In the UK law, trial by combat formally abolished in the UK in 1819. Explanation of why it was, basically, one, it's not allowed. Two, it will never be recognised. Now, if you do want to challenge someone here in Wales or England or Scotland or Ireland, you just have to be man about it. Go outside, find somewhere where no one's around, have a good punch up, and the first one down, the other one helps them back up. You brush yourself off, shake hands, give each other a hug, and go for a beer. That's if you're man enough. But obviously, Luthman is not a man; he's a coward. Yeah, right. And makes accusations of people being racist and God knows what else. I mean, the guy's an absolute clown. Now, modern legal status in the US law, US courts have never legally recognized trial by combat. And people have, and Idiot Face is not the only one. Right? Basically, there's been many people who've asked for trial by combat because they know it. It can sort of knock the court case out of sync. So basically, it'll just mess everything up, and that's why they do it, because once they put in it, right, it puts more pressure on the courts, because that means the judge then needs to go and sit down, go through all the legal documentation about trial by combat and about its legal standing and everything else, and then has to come back, and that can take time. And that's why they do it. And it's also because, it's... now, short answer, is it legal now? No. Long answer, no. But it was fun explaining it. That's Now, I'm going to say, I'll be very honest with you. the fact that the absurdity and the lack of thinking to go into a court case and stand there and go, I want trial by combat. That shows that you never had professionalism, that you were never a professional lawyer. That shows that you had no care about the case. It was all about you. It was all about, hi Teresa. Hi Teresa Taylor. It's all about you. It's not about you. I mean, I would love to see you walk into a dojo or walk into a boxing club or anywhere where there's gladiatorial training, and then see how that goes. Because, it's all good and fine to, do a little bit of subterfuge, do a little bit of deflection, be a provocateur. It's very easy. It's very easy. But any professional psychiatrist or therapist or anyone who would spend 5 minutes with you would basically say that you are definitely a loaf of bread missing of a picnic basket. That's for sure. And then you want to make videos and attack me and DJ Rattus and My Pretty because you can't handle constructive criticism. You can't handle the facts. That's on you, sweetheart. That's definitely on you. Now, trial by combat, I think you've blown that one. So come up with something else. Come up with something that's original. Like, go down to Washington, go and talk to the police and ask them, what is the thing about this mutual combat? Right? What is mutual combat? But the fact that you are basically trying to intimidate people by saying that. Richard, let me talk to you man to man. Well, man to whatever you want to call yourself. Right? Come here. Right. Let me tell you something right now. You may have a little bit of strength in you. I mean, you got your body weight to help you with, But let me explain something to you. Every time you open your mouth, okay, yeah, come closer. Come here. Now, every time you open your mouth and you come out with stupid comments like that, right, takes away that little bit of credibility that you still have. Now, I don't know if you still, you live in your mum's basement or you live in the back in a doghouse or in a I don't know. I don't really care. But here's the thing. Looking at some of the people, like looking at Jeremy Hales, or myself, I'm a little bit bigger than him, but that's beside the point. Do you seriously think for 1 second that you would be able to survive trial by combat? And if you do think that, then contact the Medieval MMA. Actual fact, hang on a minute, I'll get you their location. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Here we go. Okay, so basically what you can do, all right, is if you go into Google and type in medieval combat, right, abbreviate USA.com, okay, contact them and go and prove to us that you are able and that you are worthy of any type of challenge that you make. Go down there, phone them up, say, I'm coming down now, put your best night. And by the way, don't call them anything else that night, because that's what they are. They are knights. Hi, SMN. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. All right. And by the way, guys, to everyone who, very quickly, everyone who has super chatted and everything else and memberships, a couple of days before Christmas, I don't know, I probably might do something. But anyway, I just wanted to take this moment to thank you guys and I really appreciate your support and everything. Okay, but I'm still trying to get my head around it, and I'm still trying to learn about it. However, there will be more members only chats coming up. Okay. Now, anyway, going back to Idiot. Now, when you do turn up there, be very. I'm good, SMN. It's really good to see you, buddy. Really good to see you. I hope you're doing. I hope your leg's better, and I hope you're doing better. Now, here's one thing that I want you to remember. Don't call them anything except Knight. If they address you and they give you their name and they say, "Oh, you can call me that," then fine. But other than that, call them Knight, because this is a real club. This is a real. They follow the rules. Okay, but obviously that's where you actually struggle now. Right, you can join them. You can watch. You can play. You can be a volunteer. All right. Now, here's the best thing. Right, it will only for non-competitors, right? Yeah, Marshall Tournament Authenticity staff, right? It's $25. Now, access to the Bird International, voting rights for Bird International, voting rights for the MCUSA, including formal channels, count towards members. And here's the thing: if you really want to join them, and you want to become a real man, a knight, all you have to do is ask them. But here's the thing: the problem that you're going to have is that they've got bylaws and policies, and they've got rules and regulations. Okay? Now, the problem that you're going to have, Mr. Humpty Dumpty, if you open your big mouth and turn around to one of them and go, I want trial by combat, you're going to have a bad day, because every single one of them will go, yep, let's go. And here's another thing. Even the women do it as well. Yeah. If you're a lady and you want to do medieval MMA, medieval combat USA will be your home. Right? And they've even got youth leagues as well. Oh, become a member. Oh God, yes. I tell you one thing. It'll be so it would be such an interesting thing to see. You standing in a square box, doing 1-to-1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4, 5, 12 versus 12. Oh boy, just thinking about that. Just thinking about that. It's painful. I should know. Because I found out about this last year. Actually, that was the year before. Yeah, it was last year, wasn't it? Yeah. Cost a lot of money to get the gear, by the way. No, I doubt very much he'll fit in the armor. But just to give you an example, okay? All right, here's a link. Here's a link to what is. Oh my God. Ammo Girl, thank you so much for the 5 memberships. So now, okay, where is it? What was it? There you go. So now, who have we got? We got Timothy. Hey, you lurking? Marcus K91 lurking. Joel Herban. Hi, welcome. Yvonne Chavez. Seen your name somewhere before. Yeah. So welcome, Jan. What was that? Jan P6471. Well, welcome to the troop, everybody, and thank you very much, Amago. You are an angel. But remember, guys, you don't have to do this all the time. But again, it is very, very welcome, and thank you so much. And to everyone, I mean, Timothy, you can come on in. Jan, Tunnel, Herban, guys, come on in. Come and talk to each other. Come and have some fun. Don't be scared. As long as you follow the rules and you're respectful, you're more than welcome in here. But anyway, here's the link, just to give you an idea what it's like, MMA. So, if, for example, you're watching this on replay, Mr. Magoo, all right, Elmer Fudd. Actually, I should call you Elmer Fudd from now on. All right, if you're watching, hit that link. Well, you won't see anyway, but go and check out, right? Go and check out Medieval MMA. Huh? Mr. You is a bad boy. You're nothing. You're a spanner. You're a tool. You're a tosser. I tell you, the best part of you ran down your mother's leg, right? Because you guys like to pick on people, right? You like to pick on people like, you just like to pick on people. But you don't like it when someone starts fighting back or stands toe-to-toe with you. And I doubt very much that you're a type of person who would richly, your mouth off to someone and then you'll hide behind someone else. Excuse me. That's the type of person I think you are. But then again, it's just one of those things. Anyway, so if you just bear with me a second, I'm just going to have a nice mouthful of Dr. Pepper. It's Dr. Pepper, guys. It's Dr. Pepper time. Yes. Yeah. And also, what I would actually recommend as well, Richard, is that you watch that little belly of yours, because that can be actually quite painful when you get smacked in the belly. Spornicus Maximus Durileus. I am the commander of... I can't remember what I'm the commander of. Anyway, that's beside the point. But because I am such a nice guy, I've decided, bring that a little bit closer, there you go, I am Spartacus, right, is basically where's the music? Where is the music? I had the music here a minute ago. Where is the music? What have you done to the music? Oh, there you go. There it is. Let's have a little bit of... Oh, wait. Yes. Yeah, let's have a little bit of tune, shall we? Now, you know what they say about just chillaxing and, I'm here. Now, here's the thing. I must admit, I really do feel sorry for Luthman, because he's lost every single ounce of interest by people, and the only interest and the only thing he's got, okay, is how can I put it? How can I put it? Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say now. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Here's the thing, right? Now, Luthman has made big waves, Substack, and, it's all about attention. Now, the old saying used to be, if you don't pay them attention, they'll just stop. And here's the thing. I don't pay attention to these idiots, but I'm not going to stop. I am not going to stop to prove their hypocrisy. I am not going to stop showing facts about their lies and hypocrisy, right? Because at the end of the day, they've made their bed, they're laying it. Today, you learned something about trial by combat. You learned something about some historical stuff. Now, yes, you just saw one of the folders go open and there was loads of pictures in there, right? And different links. But there's nothing in there that will give anything away. That I can assure you of, right? That's why I don't mind, you know. But just remember, right? Luthman, you made some serious mistakes, right? Just like Volp, hello, you guys. All of you have made mistakes that you didn't realize you had done. Using your background, trying to, certain information and that. And the fact that you've got 2 YouTube accounts, and you, Sunshine, don't just have 2. Just saying. Just point out there. And nor does Volt, and nor does freaking that woman, right? Now, there's a lot of, it's very easy to turn around and say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not true, blah, blah, blah. Well, I know. The burden of proof is on my side. I have to prove what I'm saying, right? That's part and parcel of burden of proof. Now, I want a new song. I want a song that I'm enjoying. Where is it? And this is where a lot of people make mistakes. Okay, where the frick is that song? Oh, there you go. No, it's not that one. Wait, what? What is going on here? Oh, there it is. Now, it is very easy for me to prove it, but I don't need to, because all I have to do is just wait until you post something. Now, here's something you need to... I'm just doing that for SMN because he likes it. There you go. Now, it is very easy to just sit and watch people F up. Wow, did I just say F up instead of fuck up? Oh, damn. God damn. So, oh! Anyway, right. Now, the fact that you guys, all right, are trying to drag someone down that you have no bearing or nothing to do with. The only information you are going, the only oh my God, Jesus fucking cat. Sorry, cat, not blaming you. I'm not blaming. No, sorry, sweetheart. No. The only attention you are getting, okay, the only attention you're getting is the negative attention. And you know what? Right? You seem to thrive on negative attention. But there's one thing about this whole scenario, about everything. Right? One thing about this whole situation that has not happened yet is that news channels and newspapers haven't got a hold of all this, what's going on. I wonder what would happen if newspapers and everything else, because let's put it this way, what you're trying to do, you're trying to get this into the newspapers and news channels so you can get a little bit of fame. But I tell you one thing, here's a bit of advice. Avoid that as much as you possibly can, because I tell you one thing, you will not look good in it. You will not come out on top on that one. That I can assure you of. It won't be like the way in 2016 when you were walking around with a little shield and a little plastic sword and a helmet, you absolute pleb, right? And that goes for other lawyers as well. I mean, the Ohio court case, it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, I felt really sorry for Jeremy and George that they had to travel, they had to go and sit there, right, and prove themselves right by knowing exactly what was going to happen. You can actually set your clock to these people. You know exactly that they're not going to follow the rules of the court. And this is what makes me question your legal system. It's all good and fine. People sitting there going, oh, yes, well, I know about this, I know about that, right? Or blowing their own trumpet. And to be perfectly honest with you, you know, it's a waste of time because, like, you know. But one thing I am quite happy about is the fact that the
One's going straight from our hearts to the boots of the Valley Knight SpawnTrooper, baby. You've got
is the fact that the can you hear that music, by the way? There's the fact that the judge, from the sounds of it, is not messing about with this. I mean, for a judge to phone up a lawyer, yeah, that's not going to go down well. That's not going to, yeah. And every single one of these lawyers, right, their companies are going to feel the ramifications of this because it's not going to give them the publicity they want. Oh. You know, I do find it, you know, I do find it very interesting that that you've got these absolute clowns, right, doing all this, and the worst thing that can happen is that it suddenly gets publicized, and then they treat judges like they're idiots. And I predict, and I'm not going to say, I'm predicting that the Ohio court case, George and Jeremy are going to win that, hands down. That's fact. And I also think that it's going to come to a point where someone is going to get arrested. Hi, Seagull. And someone is going to get arrested. And when they do get arrested, it's gonna send a. And here's a little message to Stupid Dave, aka Jabba the Hoot. Your name and everyone else's name is public information. So before you go around accusing people of doxing and God knows what else, right? Here's some advice, and I'm being as polite as I possibly can because you and I, you know, we've had our innings, right? But to be perfectly honest with you, you are irrelevant. However, I'm going to give you some public advice, and it's for free, right? So don't get paranoid. Don't let your anxiety do anything or whatever, right? Just listen. All right, so here's a little bit of advice. The fact that you threw yourself and your brother under the bus within the first half a page of your motion, all right, just accept the service, the process server, all right, because that's probably the only time you can then speak your mind, because you'll be in court and then you can say what you want to say. But by going on different platforms and putting up sub stories about poor you, right, the only thing you're going to get, right, is nothing. And I'm surprised that I'm surprised that people still acknowledge you, right? And that goes for Kersey as well, Robert Kersey, Swamp Lizard. And that goes for the crampons as well. That goes for all of you who were served. You'll sit on your platform, flap your gums, and there's Lisa, you know, crampon, fleecer, right, thinking that she's fucking Judge Dredd, that she can she can write legal documents for people. I am really looking forward to seeing you in court and then hearing about you and getting the book thrown at you and getting sanctioned for impersonating a attorney, because you are not, unless you can prove that you've passed the bar or that you are a paralegal and that you've actually got the qualifications to be a paralegal. You've got a shitstorm coming your way, girl. But you would probably handle that with your loofers, won't you? Which is going to be the next song, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I don't want anyone to think that I'm an arsehole. I want you all to be 100% sure about it, okay? Because I am not going to beat around the bush, and I'm going to say it as it is. Now, why did I start this live stream? Because I wanted people to actually understand what it means when you turn around to say you want trial by combat, right? People don't talk about it, so I thought, you know what? There you go. Now, do I really care about these people? No. What I care about is that, and like I said, I've never spoken to Jeremy Hells. I followed him for now 7+ years now, and I enjoyed his videos. Be honest with you, I don't think I ever went to his live streams. I don't even know if he had a live stream. But anyway, but I knew the moment they moved to Otter Creek, and they bought that property in Otter Creek, and all that crap started with the water meter, I knew something was going to happen. And it did. You know. And then you had the ambulance chaser, Matskin tape, spank stain. Anyway, then you had him turn up, and obviously everything to shit. And I want also to point out, you know, Lynette Preston and John Cook may be absolute fucking reprobates, but they were also used. And a lot of people are not actually looking at that side of it. A lot of people are like ignoring that fact that the crampons and other people in that little clique jumped on them and used them to boot the door in so they could go after Jeremy Hells and George. The moment you put all that together, then you'll realize what's going on. You know, so it's one of those things that people seem to ignore or don't want to know or don't want to talk about. But there you go. It's one of those things. You know. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's sad actually, because like, you know, we all know that there's something there's definitely something wrong with Lynette Preston and John Cook. You know, and like what I find quite strange is that people are taking advantage of their inability to understand what's going on, or you know, the inability to actually realize the difference between taking advantage of or you know. But some of the comments that she makes and some of the stuff they say tells me they do understand what's going on, but they're just plain stupid. Now, is that factual? Who knows? Is that true? Don't know. But let the courts decide. And that's what I'm waiting for, because I can't wait for this to be over. And I can't wait to actually enjoy talking about Wales, talking about, you know, the history of this country, going through news that's happening over here, you know, and doing other stuff, content that one thing I can tell you now, you know, some of the content is going to be changing and you're going to like it. You know, you are going to like it. And then it's entirely up to you if you want to use what I've shown you or you don't. You just go, oh, right, okay. Yeah. So, besides that, first things first, good morning to anyone on this side of the pond. And hello and good evening and good morning to everyone on the other side of the pond. And what the hell are you still doing up? But yeah, there you go. So we can have a quick chat and just chill out, and you know, we can talk about different things. If you guys got you know any questions, concerns, or complaints in regards of trial by combat and the historical side of it, then please go into the description and you'll find links to everything. And you know, just to point you out, some of the music has been done by JK Films, some of it's been done by DJ Rats, and I think one or two songs I've done. But people need to start waking up. People need to start stepping out of that box, start looking at this. What do you mean I woke you up? Well, you snore loud. Anyway, it's going to be an interesting ride, because if Ohio is going to be the changer, I think whatever happens in Ohio, and I wish the Hales all the luck. I wish them all the best. Doesn't mean, you know, like I said before, and I've always said, there's things I don't agree with. Wait, Mama Joe's in here? What am I missing? Oh, I've got it on top. Oh, right, okay. There you go. There you go. Wait, I don't see Mama Joe in here. Oh, Mama Joe, have you blocked me? You all right? Yes, please. Ooh. Morning, Lisa. Your sheep shagger. Joanna White. Mama, I don't see Mama Joe unless I'm blind as a bat.
This one goes out to all the daffodil warriors. All the brethren in Swansea, in Wrexham, in Mer 13.
But then again, there's so many people coming in and out. I don't know if... Wait, what? Joanna White. So you wait, you're Mama Joe. Wait, what? Oh, I give up. I'm so confused right now. Anyway, so wait a minute. I want a different song. I want to do the... Yes. Did I do the Luther song? Fuck it. Let's do the Luther song. I haven't done a Luther song. Get host picker Gail and freaking Lisa dancing away. Oh, God, I didn't know. I'm sorry. My apologies, Mama Joe. It's okay. I'll go and get my room. Oh, my. Well, a big shout out SMS. Thank you very much for the 5 memberships. I really do appreciate it. Welcome, peasants, to the troop. That is what the group is called, the family is called. It's called the troop. Okay, so welcome to that. And welcome, Charlie McCrite. I hope I got that name. I hope I haven't butchered that name. Andrea Myers, welcome. Palmer Arca Homestead, welcome. Good to see you. I hope that you will come back and visit and say hello. Seagull, good to see you. Liz Cooks, good to see you too. You know, so you don't have to be scared, or you can come in. You're more than welcome to come in. Just respect the rules, and if you've been here before, you know the rules. Respect each other, show respect. If you're going to be, if you're going to use constructive criticism, then make it constructive and respectful. Other than that, all good. Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone. Hi, Heidi. Yeah. So there will be another members only probably next week, and I hope to have a video ready for you, so to show you basically just to give you an idea how to fix brake lines. But see what happens. Not sure yet. Oh my God, why does it keep on doing that one? I want this one. There you go. That's a good song as well. There you go. Yeah, and here's the thing, I know there's people, I know there's people who don't like me, who don't agree with me. Now that's fine. Yeah, you don't. That's fine. But one thing you should do is always have an open mind and be unbiased. Because if you have an open mind and you're unbiased, then you will see more than you think, and you will hear more than you think. Oh, I've already gifted 5 this month. I'm going to do the next probably before Christmas or just after Christmas. I'm going to give the next 5 out. You know. And here's another thing: if you don't want to be here, then don't be here. Because like when this court case is, I can't wait till this is over. And I know I've been thinking very hard about this, right? And I'm a type of person when I get a gut feeling, I usually go by my gut feeling. And I've got a very, very, very strong gut feeling that Jeremy Hales and George are going to be walking away with 70% win on this whole thing. And the 30% is probably the loss, because I doubt very much they're going to reimburse the legal fees that they've spent so far on this. Yeah. But there you go. Yes, congratulations, you are graduated to peasants. I've got 3 levels. I'm still, like I said, I'm still one step at a time. I'm still like a small creator. I'm still learning everything, and then once like, I'm still debating if I should stay with Restream or go to StreamYard or get the 1 year package on Restream, because then I can, and the rest of it will then go to Combat Stress or Safa, and that's going to be for homeless veterans in whole. And when I do that, I will be then showing transparency, So, but I don't expect you guys to, a lot of people get membership gifted. You can take advantage of that, exploit it. That's entirely up to you. But, if you want to be part of the troop and you want to come and chill out and you want to, just communicate and talk amongst each other where, you're safe from ridicule, that's entirely up to you. But there are going to be snakes in the grass, and unfortunately that's part and parcel of the interwebs. Not saying that anyone is, but I'm just saying that it's part and parcel. It's going to happen. But everyone is welcome. Is there a loofah? Do you know what? I just had an idea. You ready, darling? Yeah. I'm going to find pictures of loofahs, different colours, and then put them up as badges.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good idea, isn't it? You just gave me an idea. Right, I wonder what will happen, reactions, when those who backed the circus find out they backed the wrong horse. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not going to treat anyone differently. But I'm just gonna take a scene from Family Guy when you walk into Chris's room and the wardrobe opens and you've got the angry monkey in there and he points at you like that. That is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to point at them and smile. Because at the end of the day, if they're not willing to listen and they just go, I mean, I've seen a lot of comments going, oh, Brits shouldn't be involved in this, Brits shouldn't do this, Brits shouldn't do that. And I'm like going, well, I mean, if you think about it, this is discussed and covered across the world. There are people from multiple different countries watching what's going on. So, but there's an old saying, when it comes to the anti-what the hell's ego group, you made your bed, you lay in it. And the more free publicity you give me, the better. I like to grow slowly. For me, it's quality, not quantity. And, if I grow naturally, then I grow. The thing is, I'm not just talking about this court case, I will talk about other stuff as well. Like today, we've discussed combat, trial by combat, and where the origin and where it comes from, and what I mean, if you turn around in the court case, go, I want trial by combat, you're deliberately sabotaging that court case. So there you go. Now you know what Luthman's like. Now you know what he's about. Devil fan, welcome. Good morning. What are you do you have a comment about the person arrested in you after playing abuse? Oh my god. I could write a book on that. That is the most stupidest. I mean, like, what if I take a couple of pictures of me when I was deployed, or when I've got pictures of me on the ranges, right, where I'm holding an L85A2, right, or where I'm holding an L96, or where I'm holding a pistol, where I'm firing a javelin. I mean, seriously, like, I've even got pictures of me sitting in a turret of a warrior. What if I put that up and I'll get arrested? Oh, we'll arrest you because you got in a tank. Well, actual fact, officer, it's not a tank. It is an APC, or an IFV, as the Americans call it, an infantry fighting vehicle, or an armored personnel vehicle. So technically, it's actually a reconnaissance vehicle, but it's got a 20mm. But anyway, officer, you are very educated. Where do you want my hands for the handcuffs? It's stupid. That guy, he was in the States, okay, and he was at a friend's house, or he was on the ranges, and I think they had the AR4 there, and a couple of different weapons. I actually didn't look at the picture. At one point, did he have? I think he was holding a shotgun at one point, or was it a rifle? Anyway, the fact that he actually got arrested because he was firing weapons in the United States. If I was him, I would wait until everything was dropped, and then I would go to the newspapers and go, right, I would go and find a QC, and I would sue the crap out of the police service, because they're not police force anymore. They're a police service, right? I would sue the crap out of them, and then I would personally sue Keir Starmer, because they're the ones who caused all this. The fact that they arrested someone who was in a foreign country, right, who was supervised and, was under their laws, the minute he gets off a plane, he's arrested because he put a picture up of him being on the ranges in the United States. So what's going to happen? Hang on a minute. Let's turn that off for a second. What will happen if every single person who goes to Thailand, or goes to, and sits and has a picture of them taken with, a load of ladies of the night, or they go to Germany and go to Hamburg, and they go to the Reeperbahn. A Reeperbahn is basically a red light district in Hamburg, very well renowned. It's world known. Everyone knows about the Reeperbahn, right? Or they go to Belize, where you got the red light district in Belize. Belize is nicknamed Clap City because of that, right? Or they go to the States, they go to Texas, and they're sitting on the horse, and they're like, I mean, can you imagine how many people would be in jail? Like 60% of people of this country would be sitting in cells right now. And like, I don't want to get into politics, and I definitely don't want to get into politics, because, to be honest with you, no, absolutely not. But the fact that someone who was visiting the States, who was having a fantastic time with friends and everything else, and he got invited to go on the ranges, and to handle weapons that we don't have. We don't need weapons over here. We're strong enough to deal with our hands. But the fact that he had some fun on the ranges, very safe, you could tell that he was being instructed the way he was holding it. Well, I mean, if he'd have fired that, he would have hurt his shoulder, but that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is, it was in a safe environment. Getting off a plane over here, getting arrested over that, it's just pathetic. I don't know what's happened. Ever since the pandemic, the world has just gone to shit. Actual fact, Devil fan, all right. I was coming back from when I was stationed in Germany. I was coming back and I decided to take a train because I didn't want to drive. And I knew that I could get a train, straight to London, and it was on Eurostar. And I had to swap trains. I had to swap trains in a certain town. And I think it was Dortmund or Dusseldorf, one of the two. Don't quote me, I can't remember the town. And I stopped off at the train station. Excuse me. I stopped off at the train station, got out, got all my gear, had all my bag, my backpack, my Bergen, my bag, and my Universal. And, it wasn't that heavy. And I'm standing at the train station waiting for the next train because I had to go to a different town to then jump onto the Eurostar. And I'm standing there and I'm looking up and there's this big sort of tower block right next to the tower station. And I was sitting there minding my own business, having a smoke. And I look up and there's like numbers on the different corners. Either it was a bottom left or it was a top left and top. Well, it was a top. Yeah, it was top left and top right. On every single window, there was a number, and it started from that, obviously from 1, and it went all the way up to about 72 or 73 or something like that. And I was sitting there, and this German guy sits next to me, and I'm like going to him, because I speak fluent German. I went to him, I said, "Excuse me." He went, "Yeah." And he went, "Oh, do you have a light?" I went, "Oh, yeah, sure. Here you go. Have a light." He went, "Yeah, what's up?" And I went, "Quick question of interest." And he went, "You're going to ask me about that building with the numbers on it?" I went, "Yeah." "What is that?" He said, "Oh, that's the biggest brothel in town." I was like, "What?" You actually get, so you can walk in there and it's like a restaurant and you just go, "Yeah, I want number 12, 26, and 5. And he was like, "Yeah, richly." "Oh, okay. Yeah." And it richly, so now if I'd have taken pictures of that, like, done a selfie with the numbers in the back. So, "Oh yeah, look, I'm standing in front of a brothel," and then I put that online. Wonder if I'd have the police knocking on my door. "Oh, you can't do that," waggling their finger. "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. Oh, yeah, you need to come with us because you said naughty words." I rest my case. It's actually so stupid. Hi, Sheena. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying it. Actually, in fact, where's the music gone? What have I done with the music? Music Maestro. What one shall I play now? No, let's not play that. Oh crap! Yeah, right. Hang on a minute. 1 second. Let me find. There you go. Right. Okay. So I go there. Doop 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 doop. Huh. Okay. Right, there you go. Yeah, sorry about that. I just received a message. Yeah, Spawn, and that's why I think most Americans think you're brass and gruff and find you honest and not done because we're all part of them. Well, they're not just part of national. I mean, I can educate you guys right now. Some of it is spot on. Some of it is questionable. Some of it they say it's just a myth. But for example, shit is not a swear word. It's an abbreviation because it stands for store, hire, and transit. And then you got the word fuck, which stands for fornication under the consent of the king. You know, I mean, we can go into that in depth. You know, many people are not that educated, but you know, it's just one of those things. I'm just a little bit bored now with this court case. I'm bored with these individuals who think that everything that comes out their mouth is gospel truth, and you know, no one should question or even research what they're saying, and that goes on both sides. And you know, I've had multiple DMs about different fucking people, and I've gone, don't care. They are irrelevant. They don't exist. You know, it's an unfortunate one thing that the only thing I do not like about this whole thing that started. What I don't like is that people will judge other people because they have an opinion, right? And they will also put you in the same category as the person who's causing the problem. Like if I like for example me, if I don't like you, I will tell you. If I don't want you within my community because I think that you're going to disrupt the community and upset people, then I will remove you. If you lie or you twist the truth, then I will prove you wrong. And unfortunately, the people have tried that and they fall flat on their face. And no matter what they do or what they try, I ignore it. I don't care. All right. Perfect example. Bruce Matskin. I called him out very, very early on all this. In actual fact, around the same time, he was basically starting to become a representative for Lynette Preston. I called him out from the get-go. Lynette Preston as well. I called her out with all these freaking names and the background and the history and everything else of what type of like scrounging slug she is. You know, I mean, I wouldn't even call her that. I would call her freaking there's nothing I could call her because anyway, you know, and what gets me are there's been situations like, for example, when John Cook pulled out the pew on Jeremy Hells, there were people going, no, he didn't. It wasn't a gun. He had a mobile phone, or he had this in his hand. Oh, he didn't have a weapon in his hand. He didn't have that. No. And I went, do you know what? I'm going to cover that on my live tonight. And I got a picture, and I actually showed exactly what hand that weapon was in and what type of weapon it was. I was the only one to identify the freaking weapon that Lynette Preston had in her shoulder holster. And then I had someone go, no, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that. And then months later, when the Rozzers, the police, the boys in blue, when they turned up on that property, even though they are absolute clowns, when they turned up and found all the weapons, right? And the pistol, not the automatic, but the pistol turned out to be exactly the same weapon that I pointed out and I described. That's another thing. That he's not allowed to have a weapon. I'm sure he's not allowed to. Exactly, Seagull. That's it. That's one of the reasons. I mean, like when I talk with my pretty, or I'm sitting on the stream with Squid Pro Quo, all right, I enjoy talking about the documents because sometimes it can be refreshing because you can see the discrepancies and the failures in motions that they have put in. The perfect example a few weeks ago when Squid and I were sitting on there, and I went, hang on a minute, and she went, what? And I went, hang on. He's just throwing himself and his brother under the bus with that first paragraph. And here's another thing. People can't even remember what happened last January or last February or last March or last April. Because people have a memory of a fucking goldfish. Everyone wants to just, what they do, all right, that's what was said last week. All right, okay. Now that was said yesterday, right. And then a couple of days later, yeah, that was said the day before yesterday. But now that, and, you know, people are forgetting what happened 9, 10, a year ago. You know. Oh, SMN, I've seen that. It's a very small one. I think it's a 2.2 long rifle. But I'm not sure, but don't quote me on that. But anyway, going back to this court case, I don't mind talking about the documents, you know, if my, you know, when My Pretty has them or when Squid has them. And, you know, when so like Shizzy puts them up or, you know, or Tug or Megan, whatever, when they put them up, I actually sit in there and I don't look. I actually sit in there and I watch. And I, you know, if I got a question, I'll ask. But there's been times where I've just sat there and I'm looking at what they're saying on screen. But then I look at the comments and people are like totally off the chart. Totally off the chart. And you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. Why the hell are you sitting here waffling and flapping your gums when someone has actually shown you a document, an actual freaking document, to a real court, a real file, a real filing, a case? It's a real thing. It's not made up. It's a real document. It's got everything on there. Jurisdict, it's got, you know. And people are not paying attention to that or not taking it serious. And they just think it's, oh, yeah, or whatever. And I think somewhere mid this year, you know, everything just went off the rails. And that's one of the reasons I don't bother with the documents anymore. That's why I don't go through the document. That's why I don't bother, you know, pointing out discrepancies on other people's freaking platforms. Because at the end of the day, not that I can't use it. I can use it for fair trade. I can point out certain things, you know, under fair use. But I don't see the point of it. Because 99% of the time, they're just repeating the same shit, or they're just saying it in a different way, or they're changing the narrative in such a way that they're making themselves look at what I did. Like a few months ago, someone took what I researched and put it up for themselves. And I went, look, at least you could have offered me a reach around. But again, I don't mind that. Because at least there, they actually used my research, which is good. Of course they are, Devil. I mean, the fact that Crampon has now made herself sound like she's a legal expert. Interesting, don't you think? Oh, good grief! It was. Yeah, it did. It did, Gail. You know. And the one thing I do want, here's one thing that concerns me, right? Well, in a way it doesn't, but it does. When the police took pictures of the pew-pews, right? That one in there was black. But I know for a fact he had a silver one as well. And here's another thing, right? Someone actually asked me, he said, you remember that when you were talking about the shoulder holster with Lynette Preston? I went, yeah. Well, what colour was that? I said, that was a black one. So what did he have in his hand when he pointed at Jeremy? I said, it was silver with a black handle. Was it? I went, yeah, it was silver. Right? It was chrome. And the grip was black because you could see silver and a little bit of black. And then obviously his hand, because he wasn't holding it correctly. He was just holding it. And, you know, he went, oh. But in the police pictures, the automatic is black and the other one is black. And I went, yes, because the other one, that was Lynette's. But did you notice anything? No. Did you not have a look at any of the other pictures? I went, no. I said, well, go and have a look at the other pictures. Or why is that? You'll see if you pay attention. An hour and a half, 2 hours later, nothing. 3 hours later, I get a DM. The magazine's missing out the automatic. I went, exactly. That's point one. What else? And he went, oh, I don't know. I said, go and have a look. There's too many pictures. Go and have a look. And then I'll tell you. Okay. Do you remember, does anyone remember about them threatening to pew some dogs? Spawn using research is great, but bastardizing your view is another. Right, you need to put that in English. All right, does anyone, right, if you go and have a look at the pictures, you'll notice that there's a tray of 9mm on a side stand, and there's one bullet missing. First of all, why are there live rounds out in the open? Second question is, why is there one round missing? And the third question is, where was the magazine for that ever pew pew? And fourth question is, why did he say that he sold a pew pew to a friend but didn't know the friend's name and didn't have, right, any documentation or any receipt of sale of the item? And then comes my last question. What is wrong with you over there in the United States that people can just sell their pew pews with no paperwork, nothing? So, okay, here you go. I'm going to sell my pew pew to someone who's deranged, or someone who is wanted, or someone who, you know, is going to do something bad. Make sense of that. And this is one of the reasons I have stepped back slightly, because to be perfectly honest with you, right, if I can see it, and other people have also brought this up, I'm not the only one who's noticed it, but I'm a little bit quick off the mark, not blowing me on trumpet, but I am. Why is the police not seeing this? Why is this still going on? The fact that he ended up, it took a report from a woman and a guy and an 8-year-old child in a vehicle when they went to see Tubetown. That was the only reason. That was the only reason John Cook ended up going to prison for over a month. The fact that he then got released, because I personally think there was an outside source who said something to someone. That's my personal opinion, and I'm entitled to that personal opinion. I think that there was a third party who either contacted them or said something or done, you know. So. But then again, you saw what happened, you know, about the money, about the GoFundMe and everything else. And we heard the statements from that lady. So, you know, I get it. Over in the States, you got your Second Amendment. I'm all good for you, you know. But there are so many discrepancies, and I am so sick and tired of wasting my breath. Where you've got all these other clowns, certain individuals will sit on their platforms, flap their guns, show no fucking proof whatsoever of anything they say, right? But then, when it comes to stuff like this, it's ignored. People only look at the big stuff, but they don't look at the little stuff. So explain to me why the magazine was missing from that. Explain to me why there was one bullet missing from that tray. And by the way, that was a full tray of 9mm or 45, whatever. But there was one bullet missing. Explain that to me. Why wasn't there no mention of that? Right? And then you got Deuce Boy lying through his teeth about GoFundMes. You got Lynette lying through her teeth. Then you got the situation with Lloyd. You had a group of people who wanted to help a Navy veteran. They wanted to help a veteran, right? She said that he needs to leave. She's evicted him. So he had every right to ask anybody. He could have asked freaking anyone to help. And he asked Jeremy. And Jeremy spread the word. And you had people there. You had Corporal Gregory said, well, if he's not here, you can't go on the property. They respected that. And what did Bruce Matt do? He called it an invasion. He called it, I already knew what he was doing before he put that motion in. And that was at around the same time where I called out the initial that was wrong on that paperwork. You see, does anyone remember that from last year? So I'm just reading comments. The child has like, well, on Devil Fan, on a technicality, right? They were not. The little one didn't have access to him because the pew-pews were in a drawer, in a dresser inside the shed, right? So I don't think she would have had access to it. But I mean, God, there's so much I could sit here and talk. I would still be here tonight. And to be perfectly honest with you, it is getting absolutely boring. It's getting absolutely freaking boring because, you know, it's repetitive. It's the same thing day in, day out. No, Deuce Boy lost control of these people the minute Luthman and Volt came into it. The minute, I mean, Volt, you know, aka Skeletor, aka hello you guys, right? The moment he was like part of it, and here's the thing, and I already said this, I apologize to Shara, right? She got dragged in because she was genuinely concerned, right? And Volp and Deuce knew that, so they took advantage of her and tried to use her as a stepping stone, right, to get clout out of their city. At the same time, he's going on about his mac and cheese, which now I'm put off. And luckily, Shara knew what was going on and pulled herself away, and that's when everything started going tits up with Volp and what's his name, Deuce Boy, because Volp interviewed Deuce Boy, and that's when I asked him. I said, "Oh, are you into witchcraft?" Wait, what? Are you? And I went, "Are you into witchcraft?" Because, you know, you've got 2 books on your shelf, yoga for witchcraft for yoga. Really interesting. So that's another thing that people can start, you know, twisting and turning and everything. Oh, is this, you know, are these guys satanic or whatever? No, I'm just saying that, like, if you got books like that on your shelf, something's going on. Yeah. And all this is going on and on and on. And the thing is, luckily, right, Shara realized what was going on and pulled herself away. And yes, I did talk about her. Yes, I did mention her. And then I realized that I made a mistake. And the first ever chance I got, I apologized to her for what I said, you know. And half the crap that she received, she didn't deserve. And, you know, I mean, I will eat humble pie. You know, I mean, I said I didn't say anything nasty, but I just pointed out the fact that she was on the same sort of like sitting on the same couch as him. And then obviously when you realize that, like, oh, what's going on, then you go, fucking hell, now I know what's going on. He's using her. And that's exactly what he did. Hi, Paul. Good morning. And yeah, so I apologized to her, and you know, and she was very, 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 very humbling, and well, she humbled me by, you know, accepting it, and I appreciate that, and I've always supported her. But, you know, no one is perfect. But the thing is, how many people have actually, you know, how many times have you seen me try to jump on someone's coattail, like Shara's or Tugs or Megan Fox's, or, you know, I mean, I would be polite to people and that's it. I'm sociable with people, you know, but if, say, for example, Shara or, you know, or someone contacts me, I'm going to be as upfront, and, you know, if I don't want to be involved, I don't want to be involved. People need to do their research. People need to step out of their box, wind their neck in, open their eyes, keep their mouth shut, and watch what's going on. And trust me, you will catch up very quickly. of what's going on both sides of the coin. That goes with people who, you know, sit in the what the hell's camp and people who sit in the anti what the hell's camp. All right, I'm in neither. I'm sitting right in the middle, and I'm saying it as it is because other people don't want to say it. No, don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. I didn't realize he changed it back to his real name. So, you know, I did. You know, that's another thing that doesn't bother me. Because I tell you one thing: half the people who've gave it big lips towards me would not do that if they were standing in the same circle, in the same vicinity. You know. But then again, I am not a violent person. I don't believe that violence is the answer. You know, some people will use lies, deception, and God knows what else to make themselves look good, and I don't really care. And the anti-what-the-hell's ecosystem are the perfect example of that. The perfect example of that. You see, that's another thing, Devil Fan. I appreciate it. You got questions. But that's one of the questions that's got nothing to do with you, me, or anyone else. What their habit is and what they do in the sanctity of their privacy is none of our business. However, if they take that privacy and take the actions, what they commit or what they do in their privacy, and then put it online for everyone to see, then we can talk about it. But I really don't care how far they put themselves in the flower power. I really don't care. What I do care about is that if they are doing the magic powder or, you know, flower power or the sugar booger, right? I want them to think very hard, and I want them to go and get help. Devil Fan, let's drop that one, yeah? Let's just drop it, fella. Right? It's none of our business. None whatsoever. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say. Right? It's none of our business. Right? What people do, what if someone wants to, you know, disappear to the moon and sniffing moon dust through a straw, then that's entirely up to them. It's nothing to do with me, you, or anyone else. However, the fact that it's actually in official court documents, and the fact that he has admitted to it twice, it still doesn't give us the right to, you know, ask what money or, you know, what is spent on it and everything else. That's irrelevant. Yes, yeah. I mean, like I've said before, I get what you're saying, and I fully respect what you're saying. I've said before, with all the money and the with all the donations and everything else that was given to the crampons, right, and the fact that there's an ongoing court case with Gabe, right, and he has to pay retributions. How do we know that money hasn't been used to pay that off? You see what I mean? You get what I'm saying? And I mentioned that a while back. But the thing is, like, every time these people go live, they basically open themselves up to ridicule because they don't know the difference between thinking and then talking. What they'll do is they'll talk and then realize they're gone, oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, right, yeah. And then they'll one thing about her, you can figure out very quickly. When she lies, she laughs a lot. But when she's actually saying something that's truthful, she won't laugh that much. Go and look, go and pay attention, go and have a look. You'll figure it out very quickly. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, Devil Dog, the only person that you can ask, right, and to find out and get the answer is them. Go and ask them. They will either tell you to walk off in a small jerky movements, or they'll tell you. And they'll probably might lie about it. But I have got no interest in knowing. I don't care. And if any of the money that was donated specifically for the little and for the barnuminium and anything in regards to the barnuminium, right, then it has to be disclosed. But then again, like I've said before, nothing is transparent because they haven't shown any transparency. They haven't shown any receipts. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, scrounging and grifting for money, right? For a new RV, a brand spanking new one. Now, here's my. So basically, because obviously she's in a bankruptcy case, it goes over to him. And excuse me. And what I find quite interesting is the fact that the moment that bankruptcy went back in, all the grifting started with him. So hypothetically speaking, if she finishes with the bankruptcy and everything's done and over with, and then suddenly he gets done for bankruptcy, he goes in and does a bankruptcy, she'll then start grifting. I really, really can't wait for any updates in regards to this bankruptcy. I am so looking forward to that. Because when they were talking about the bankruptcy court, excuse me a second. Excuse me about that. Now, oh yeah, I mean, if she's made any type of comment and that can be proven, I mean, yeah, there's going to be. I can see the brown stuff hitting the fan on this one. This bankruptcy case is going to go. Oof, it's going to explode. And to be honest with you, Devil Fan, I don't really care until I see it. And then when I see it, I'll listen to what's being said, and then I'll give my own opinion. Because that's one problem that assuming and doing guessing is not going to give you the answer. We know money's got disappeared. It's, you can see it. We know that money's disappeared. And that irritates the hell out of me, because the thing is, a lot of people genuinely gave to help. A lot of people have, genuinely helped. A perfect example where I'll use myself as an example. When I first started, someone, I can't remember, Tim site, offered me a gift. And I went, no, go and pay it forward. Go and give it to someone who needs it. And SMN, are you still here? I hope you're still here. And, and SMN wanted to give me a gift. And I said, no, go and pay it forward. And here's what you have to remember. In the future, my goal, right, is to collect a certain amount per month for combat stress and for Safa. right? And then that's going to go to that charity, and it's going to go to those two charities. Now, I can't turn around and say I want to do stuff for every single charity, right? But there are two specific charities that I believe in my heart need the support, and that's Combat Stress and SAFA, all right? Because they help troops, veterans with PTSD and other issues, and then you got SAFA who are like an umbrella across the board. But I'm going, like, the first time I donate, I am going to probably a day later or 2 days later when I go live, I'm going to go, by the way, guys, here's your contribution to, the UK reserve, not reserve, the UK Veterans Reserve, right, which is SAFA, right, because they cover for everyone. And the reserve, what I mean with that is that pot where you put the donations in, and then it's spread equally across the system. And I'm going to do that, regardless of what people accuse me of. I served my country, and I served it proudly, and I believe that, helping other people or other brothers and sisters in arms and helping them is important for me. But when someone on here who I don't know, and SMN, love you to bits, when people who I consider friends, who I've got a lot of respect for, and I know have served, all right, and then offer me something, I'd rather they pay it forward and do something with that than give it to me. But if I do like a goal, or I got a challenge where I want to collect something, safely, because the thing is, if I do something, it's not going to be for 1 or 2 weeks. It's going to be for the whole year. And then basically what I'm going to do is each month I'm going to set a goal, what I want to collect. And then at the end of the year, just before like somewhere before November, mid-November, is then donate it. All right. Or I donate it at the end of the month, each month. But what these people have done, they have taken donations and they've taken monetary support for Lynette, John Cook, and the little one, and that property and everything else, and that whole spiel, right? And what they've done, they've shown no transparency. They've shown nothing. I'm doing well, Big Dirt. Good to see you, stranger. Right? And the biggest issue that I've got with that is that they will sit on their platform and then turn around and say, we don't have to show you anything. That money wasn't for Lynette. That was for us to do what we wanted to do with it. Now, that's where I go, yeah, there's something fishy going on. Because you gave people the impression that donations and super chats and stuff like that are for a good cause or for a cause, right? But just before that was going on, we know for a fact that they had the fence paid for in October, right? And then suddenly, just before Christmas, I think it was November, December, suddenly you see Lynette Preston riding around on an electric bike that's worth $2,000-$3,000. Figure that one out. And then you got Luthman, then you've got Volt, and then you've got all these other clowns doing gift and goes and gift GoFundMes and God knows what else, right? How do we know that this is just speculation and allegedly? How do we know that they didn't all sit on a private conversation? So, right, 2,000 for you, 2,000 for you, 2,000 for you, 2,000 for you, 2,000 for you. Think about it. That's just speculation. I mean, I've got no proof. So therefore, I can't prove 100% that that's happened. But the fact that, like, they've also got a business in a flea market, they're driving around in a Gladiator that's worth $40,000 to $60,000, and then why is it that, like, suddenly half the stuff that Lynette Preston talks about suddenly belongs to John Cook? They're making little slip-ups, but no one's noticing it. Or they're noticing it, but they're not saying anything. And you know what? I'm looking forward to the day where they're going to go, oh, crap. Because now, right, here's the thing. Now, every single one of them involved in the online cyber character assassination against Jeremy Heltz and George, every single one of them has got some answering to do. And the only way you're going to do that is by dragging them into court and getting the feds involved and doing a deep investigation. Here's one thing you need to remember. Can you imagine if the IRS and the feds get together and start investigating? I mean, let's be honest. You remember that day where the crampon thought it was funny that a service processor knocked on the door, and she thought it was funny that she said, oh, well, no, it hasn't got the right name, so I'm not accepting anything. Interesting. And then left the paperwork on the table. How much do you bet that when they went away and she said, oh, I'm not going to touch it, how much do you bet that they just picked it up and threw it in the bin? Strange, isn't it? Oh, yeah, Eric, I know they're noticing and documenting. But I'm getting to a point now where I am so bored. I'm even bored with some of the people and what the hell's when, you know, I mean, you want to get famous, then do something constructive. You know, me, I'm just me. I'm not going to change for no one. And I think people have realized that, haven't you? Yeah. You know, and I've met some really, really nice people. But today wasn't about that. Today was about people, a certain individual who has got probably the brain made of dynamite. So if he wakes up, he wouldn't be allowed to touch a light switch, let alone anything else. And must have when he fell out of the stupid tree, hit every branch on the way down and decided, you know what, I'm going to circumvent being a branch manager and I want to be a freaking site manager. Yeah, oh, freaking idiots, I swear. And, you know, deal with it. You know, but I as a parent and a father myself, and anyone who's a parent will understand what I'm about to say. I am surprised the DPS hasn't stepped in, because if you've got parents or you got guardians who are in so much legal issues where the outcome can be really bad, you know, in regards of like losing your home and stuff like that, I'm surprised the CPS hasn't got involved. That's what I can't understand. That's why I just think your legal system is an absolute joke. And the fact that Levy County Sheriff's Department don't have body cams, that again is concerning. Because like the thing is, if you walk in somewhere, yes, they can hear you, they can hear the conversation, but I could be standing there writing something down on a piece of paper going, look, I'm being recorded, just follow my lead. How do you know they're not getting hand signals or writing something down and saying, hey, do that, say this, say that, you know? But anyway, I've been going for quite a while, 2.5 hours. So any of you drama queens out there, you know, just remember one thing. You don't tell me what I can and can't say. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. You remember that? There's a lot of people out there who don't like other people talking about this stuff, and then they start talking shite. No, they could get funding for it. I've already asked. I've asked someone. They can get funding for it. They probably couldn't. They would have to go county. I think it's statewide. But they can get funding for camera systems, and you know, like once you got a camera system, as long as you maintain it, right? You know. So, but anyway, what we're going to do now, we're going to go to the Q&A time, because I'm going to call it. Well, yeah, that's the motto I have, Devil Fan. Oh yeah, I just think I do hope that that guy who was detained for a picture he put up, I really do hope that he throws the law book at I hope he gets legal representation and does something about it, because it's getting very strange over here. So don't be surprised if you suddenly hear me, right, with background of American speaking people, and suddenly you hear like a over the tannoy in Walmart, you know. Can customer service come to the counter? We've got a Welshman wanting, deep wellies. He wants wading trousers up to his nipples, chest, so he can wade in all the bullshit that's going on. Anyway, remember, if you want to ask a question at the SpawnTrooper, and then ask a question, please. I will give it 5 minutes, probably. Yeah, I'll give it 8 minutes. You got 8 minutes. You missed one. Me doggo as well. The cat is totally out, and she's got her belly up, and she's got rolled into. She's asleep, and yeah, she's in deep sleep right now. Mrs. Spawn, she is doing some work, and she's already threatened me twice with a fairly large frying pan. And I said to her, look, we still need that to make egg, we have I'll fry Vader's helmet. And the doggo, he's all cushed up in his warm kennel now, because I put like a heating system in there. But if it gets really cold, he comes into the house, because he's too much of a nutcase. What's that? Two girl, but four law enforcement. I know what. No, don't egg her on. She probably will. One thing I do want to say is that, like, I just want to say one thing, guys. I really do appreciate you guys, and for those who, like Gail, SMN, right, and Ammo Girl, and other people who've gifted memberships, guys. Thank you so much for supporting not just the platform and me, but also your fellow community members. So a big thank you for that. And just so you know, okay, it's very easy. I don't really care if people, who've got memberships don't like me. That's something they have to deal with, not me. And if you want to have a conversation, you want it to be constructive, and you want to show respect, you will gain respect. And Spawn, what kind of dog? Belgian Memoir. He's got jaws like a freaking T-Rex. Spawn, do you know where your wife is? Might want to look behind you. Oh, you fucking made me look as well. No, trust me, I can hear it. I mean, sometimes I can't hear her because I'm paying attention. Spawn, have you thought of doing another Christmas story? The other turned out great. Yes. I mean, obviously, in the members only, I did say what, but yeah, I mean, guys, if you, I can do. Around Christmas, I want to do what I'm getting right. What I am get. Do you know what? I'm going to put it up. There are going to be a couple of streams before Christmas, and there's going to be one specifically after Christmas. Right, and that's going to be a members only one, and that's where basically you can come in, you can talk about your Christmas period, and we can all have a little giggle about how many pairs of socks you were given, what and stuff like that, because that's really, I used to get told if you received a pair of socks or you received a pair of shoes or something like that, it's because the person didn't know if they should have given you money or don't know what to buy you for Christmas. So there's I'm not gaming today. I'm going to be gaming tomorrow, David. I'm going to be doing a gaming stream tomorrow. You too, Devil Fan, and thank you very much for your topics and for your input. I really appreciate that. You know, and I appreciate that you respect the fact that, like, when you're asked to just move on. But like I said, anything that happens privately and it's not public, it's not none of our business. But right, anyway, have you thought of doing it, Chris? Yes, Scale, I have. Name of YouTube video of your dog. Don't get him until you watch this video. I am never, ever, ever, ever going to put any of my animals or anything about anything, right, on YouTube. That's where we go into my privacy. That's where we go into my, and that's one thing I'm not going to do. That's one thing I'm not going to do. Right. Otherwise, I would have to put a black bar over his eyes. No. People do not do a GoFundMe for her, because she will actually buy the bloody brass ones. Yeah. What was I going to say? Well, mate. Thanks. Were there any? No, Gail. Because I did it. I did a bit of research. You know, at the end, no, there wasn't. Because I did some research and I even asked someone who's got way more experience than me. And also, you know that if you type in Christmas stories, copyright, and also royalty free, copyright free and royalty free, and it comes up with a lot of Christmas stories. Tree God 100. Good morning, Spawn. Good morning, me. You mean, yeah, good morning. Good morning. I just good morning to myself. What the fuck? Well done, Tree God. You just made me say good morning to myself. Yeah, we have just been talking about that. I wish there was a magic one that would stay. Yeah, I worried about it. Gail, I don't, you know, at the end of the day, if you know, I do my research. You know, I do my research. And the thing is also, what you have to remember when you upload a video to YouTube, right, it does a copyright check. And, you know, I've got, there are certain copyright checks. It's like they will allow you to, you know, if you get copyright struck on music or something else, right, it will tell you, you know, if the owner is okay for you to use it. And 99.9% you can, you know, but if you use stuff that, you know, I mean, like other people will buy licenses and stuff like that, it costs a lot of money. So I don't know, don't worry about it, because the moment the moment I see it, I just delete it and I change it, you know. And the thing is, what I read was over 100 years old, you know, or probably even more than that, 18th century, over 200 years old. So that's why if you ever going to read something or play something or do something, always look for the copyright free and royalty free, and just read the instructions and read the information. Don't be ignorant. And if you're going to use someone's, you know, music or something, you know, give them the credit for it. You know, I mean, they've put it out for other people to use, so give them the credit. You know, if it's not yours, don't take the credit. Give it to someone else. Or if you're doing journalistic investigation or comment or constructive critique, you know, yeah. So, any more questions? I still got, to be honest with you, Eric, I still need to get my head around that. I don't know. You'd have to do. I don't know. I wouldn't have a radio on because obviously the radio is automatically copyrighted because they're broadcasting music and tones that they've already got the license for. So I would not have a radio in the background unless it's a walkie-talkie or something like that. But I wouldn't. Well, but I don't really know. You'd have to do research on that. I haven't got that far yet. Wait a minute. I've seen you somewhere before, Tree God. I've seen you somewhere before. Why have I seen you somewhere before? Tree God, that's a strike. What's he done? Well, I mean, here's what you could do, Tree God, is find royalty free or copyright free music, which you can find, or you can go like on different sites like Sunu or different like that and create music yourself and then do a compilation tape or CD. But the best thing. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. 1 second. One second. One second. One second. Shit, what was I doing? 1 second. Okay, right. So what you can do, you can search. Actually, in fact, here you go. 1 second. This is what. Oh no. This is. I mean, you could do this yourself. You could go and look for that. Oh, for crying out loud. 1 second, please. just can't get it stuffed easily, can you? You know, there's me wanting to do this. If you go, it says here you can go to Twitch Music Library, Mopad, or other licensed libraries. But yeah, you'd have to do the research yourself, fella. There's not much I can do. One second. Yeah, so basically, you've got different ways, but looking for royalty-free, or copyright-free, but yeah, or DMCA-free music. Just play that. That's the best you can do. Hope that helps. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, Chris Cigar. Well, hello. Yeah, I don't think DJ's... Wait, is he here? No, he's not here. He's not here. He's busy, I think. Or is he? Is he? He's sneaking about me seeing him. Yes, there he is. Oh, you're playing that game now, are you? Yeah, I mean, yeah, best person arts is DJ Rats, yeah. He knows way more than I do. Yeah. Yeah, but even that, when you do that, Gail, it'll still slap you a copyright. I mean, I'm still learning about all that, and I've been gracefully helped by DJ Rattus and JK Films, so I do appreciate that. Yeah, but I don't know why, but I do recognize your... Anyway, yeah. I've been on, so I hope that you guys enjoyed the little bit of historical lesson there about trial by combat. You take care, Tree God. Thanks very much for coming in. And basically, the sooner you use it to create an instrumental song without words. Yeah. But on that note, I am going to call it a day. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming in, but I'll keep it going for a couple of minutes. Well, I try. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. It should have been. It's based more on an educational topic. It's just one of those things. But yeah, Tree God, I'm sure I've seen you somewhere before, but I don't know. But anyway, welcome. That's all I can say is welcome. And what was I going to say? Hey, Rattus, what did you think of the film? By the way. Just asking. Ratsus, are you going live today, this evening? What time is it there? Oh, it's late. It's late. But anyway, a big shout out to Heroes Chris. Thank you very much for becoming a member of the troop. Amal's Girl for 5 SpawnTrooper for 5 gift memberships, and SMN for again 5 memberships gifts. So thank you all 3 of you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and supporting the community. And again, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. I am in a process of, making more badges and images and stuff like that. So just bear with me, and at some point they'll start appearing. And yeah, there you go. Thank you. So yeah, again. So wait, 6 p.m. on a Saturday in California. So that's today, and it's 1 p.m. on Sunday in. Well, wait, what? And by the way, guys, if you want to go and check out DJ Raz, okay, you can just go here. You can click this link here. All right, and if you want to go and check out our friend Eric here, and if you're into gaming and you enjoy gaming, you're more than welcome to go and check out my gaming channel. There'll be a stream tomorrow. And if you don't know about Squid Pro Quo, go and check her out as well. A lot of call outs today. And then we have, obviously, Missy Lady was here today. So if you want to go and check Missy Lady out as well, you can go and check her out. There you go. And last but not least, go and check out JK. JK is very gifted, just like DJ Raz. And there you go. So there you got a list of people you can go and hit follow, subscribe to, and just check out their content and enjoy yourself. Remember, be positive, supportive, and remember, a smile a day keeps the weird people away. So on that note, Chris Sigota, good to see you. Thank you, Chris. I mean, it's been a while. I haven't seen you for a while. I'll be honest with you, Chris. I could have set that up a while back, but I just wanted to wait. I was not in a rush, if that makes sense. I wanted to learn and and educate myself, and also ask other people. I just wanted to learn, and DJ Rattis is one of the people who's educated me, and so is JK, and other people have educated me as well. So I was able to have memberships and super chats for a while, and thank you very much, Sienna O'Brien. Welcome to the troop, and look forward to talking to you and seeing you. And again, I'm still very humbled that people are actually getting the memberships, and I look forward to chatting to you. What I am going to do, I think I'm going to start putting notifications up. So basically, you guys get like a pre-warning of when I'm going to do good for you, Chris. Good for you. Good for you. But again, welcome to the troop, Sienna. But ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it a day. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank everyone for joining the troop, and look forward to the next members only one. And also something else. Today's stream wasn't to have a dig. Well, it was, but it wasn't. It was to educate. And hopefully some people will actually understand that when someone turns around and they say they go in a court case and then go for, I want a trial by combat, they're deliberately trying to sabotage that court case. But on that note, I'm going to make like a wind, and I'm going to blow. So you know what's coming next. Yeet.
They go live every night selling drama on demand with crampons sitting on their ass and dicky on hand. Fake tears falling, oh I'm just speaking truth, while they pocket super chats and exploit the loons. Gator rolls in trying to act real cool, but he's stirring up heat, breaking all the rules. Haters in a circle, all bark, no bite, till SpawnTrooper drops and it flips on the light. SpawnTrooper, he bring truth and facts to the land. SpawnTrooper, he assesses the situation at hand. SpawnTrooper, is weak with this one. Deuces in the mix, spinning lies for the stream. He acts like a king, but his throne's just a meme. Dodging all the questions with a scripted phrase, trying to fool the crowd, but he's just a face. Bones like has got a seat at the front of the show, putting up a front, but got nowhere to go. Guano's hiding in shadows, throwing shade in the chat. They all act tough, but SpawnTrooper's on that. SpawnTrooper, he bring truth and facts to the land. SpawnTrooper, he assesses the situation at hand. Weak with this one. Now the people rise, no longer blind. The lies unravel one stream at a time. Truth's not merch, it don't come in packs. And SpawnTroopers got receipts, not just attacks. He says turn off the feed, walk into the sun. This war for your mind, it's already begun. With clarity blazing like a saber so bright, he leads the way through the digital night. SpawnTroopers say, I see you playing, keeping up the show, spinning your stories, but the truth starts to flow. Your gators pull high like you're some kind of lord, but all you're doing striking out with the faulty sword. You're no warrior, just a puppet on strings. Your fake crown don't mean a thing. The game's up now, you're out of move. SpawnTroopers here to expose your groove. SpawnTrooper, he bring truth and facts to the land. SpawnTrooper, he assesses the situation at hand. SpawnTrooper, then he say the words, truth don't kneel to no one man. SpawnTrooper, the force is weak with this one. One, jag dued, bara det går en dag du gör amlog. Truth
always in the end no place for deceit.
May grim unwind, get a whole group on. The force is weak with this whole bunch.